Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day. Now today I'm actually going to be talking about something that I'm sure a lot of us have talked about or learned about at some point in our life, and I'm going to be going more in depth and talking about things that a lot of people probably haven't actually thought of, and that has to do with how we actually hear ourselves. Now I'm sure a lot of us have probably watched a video or listened to an audio recording or anything else, and when we first listen to, our first reaction is, that's not what my voice sounds like, that's not my voice right there, and everyone around us will be telling us that that is actually how you sound. And the reason that we actually sound differently to ourselves than the way other people hear us has to do with our body and a couple of other things, and it's been one of those things that's grown to be very, very annoying sometimes when you're listening to yourselves or watching yourself or anything like that. And I'm sure a lot of YouTubers have really dealt with this, or any other type of producers, because when you listen to yourself or watch a video of yourself, sometimes it makes it very hard to focus on a video when you're editing it and cutting it out and everything and making changes to it. And sometimes they're very used to it when they're watching the video after rendering it, just to check on it and make sure the video turned out fine and everything. And it's one of those things that I'm sure a lot of YouTubers have gotten over, or at least it's easier on us. It's not as much of a pain as it used to be, but it's still one of those things that can be annoying. And one of the things that's very interesting is that when I went to school for 3D game design, one of the very cool pairs of headphones that my teacher had, what I did was when I listened to a recording of myself, the very interesting thing is about that pair of headphones is that when I listened to myself, it actually sounded the way I actually hear myself. So it was very interesting to actually see that. So if I could, I would go back in time and maybe not take a pair, but at least actually learn what actual model of that pair of headphones it was. And I'm surprised to see that there's not very many pair of headphones that actually have that, because it'd be one of those things that's very marketable. And if there is some pairs, then let me know in the comment section below, because this is definitely something that I'm sure would be really great for a lot of people. So in this way, it's at least less annoying. And the more I actually thought about this, there was a couple of things I really started wondering about. And one of the top things that really just popped and I really started thinking about was, how does someone know if they're a good singer? And what I mean by that is that when you listen to yourself, when you're singing or anything else, you may think you're a bad singer, but what if when people think that they're a bad singer, they're actually more likely to be a good singer, or if it's the other way around? But my main question is, how do we know it's actually, one way or the other, and not something that's just really based upon that actual individual person's voice? It may just depend on their voice or something. And it's like, how do singers know if they're actually a good singer? Because again, when someone, that's a very popular singer, when they first started making music or recording themselves, they probably thought they were terrible singers the whole time. And what if, the way we hear ourselves is actually worse than how other people hear us? And again, how does, someone really know if they're a good singer or not, and how other people react when they're mostly listening to themselves? And this also, really reminds me of, probably one of the biggest reasons why there are people that usually work with them. If you have, let's just say a contract with a record company or anything, they usually have people help you make improvements and tell you what to work on. And there's also teachers that can help you, make your voice better and do better in certain pitches and other things, and maybe timing and many other things. And this is probably one of the top reasons why those people exist. I mean, some people see them as just a job or another way for people to make money, but this actually makes a lot of sense, because if you just try to make money off of listening to your own voice and listening to the recording yourself, you might be more likely sounding terrible or better than you actually sound. And it also made me wonder is that there's some people out there that are very famous and well known for their voices, whether it's for a specific accent or just for the sheer fact that they actually have a very good voice. If our voices sound better to other people than they actually do to ourselves, or the other way around, we hear ourselves and our voices sound better to ourselves than they do to everyone else, how does, let's just say, some of the people that are very well known for having sexy accents or voices sound to themselves? Is it much better than they actually hear themselves? And it makes me want to get in their head and be like, wow, I can't imagine how this voice sounds to, in their own mind. And it's one of those things we just can't really know, because I only hear you the way I hear you, but you hear yourself differently than I hear you. And it's one of those things that just gets into an infinite loop, and just so many questions really come up. And there's a lot of things you could probably really think about. And this also, help make sense again, of why those jobs exist and why those are very, very helpful. And even though it is good and very affordable, much easier than it used to be to actually make music on your own without a whole big crew and everything, it still helps to have those things to make improvements and for singers to get better at making music. And there's also voice actors, and there's a lot of other things a lot of people do. And it really makes me wonder if, which way is actually better, or it just depends on their voice. Because if so, is there a possibility that, people could do actually better? And if so, what would it actually take to remove those barriers that keep them from making, their voices sound better, whether it's for voice acting or for singing or anything else in between? If those barriers get removed, could they actually push further and actually do much better? And I still think, again, it would be very interesting to see more pairs of headphones that actually, let us hear our own voice through recordings the way we actually hear ourselves. And this also made me wonder about, how headphones and audio equipment are actually made. Because if, let's just say, one person worked on the pair of headphones and microphone and all this audio equipment based upon recordings of themselves, it could sound hideous to other people because those are recordings of themselves. And if they actually configure and actually mess with the hardware and actually build it based upon those ideas and, how things sounded to them, it could actually sound worse to everyone else. And it really, really makes you wonder, maybe this is how, bad audio equipment comes into place. Maybe, they had so very few employees to actually test out the audio equipment to see how things sounded, that's why it actually sounded terrible or something, to at least many, many people's ears and everything. And, again, this is one of those small things that if you really think about it, there's a lot of things to really consider, and it probably makes a lot of things make more sense, or at least start wondering about more things. And again, there's so many things you can really think about, but, the main idea or just really sheer question of this video is, how does somebody know if they're a good singer? And also, do our voices sound better to other people than they do it to ourselves, or actually worse? And if it's worse, then does that mean if someone has a good voice to themselves when they listen to themselves, it's actually really, really terrible to everyone else? Or is it the other way around? And this is one of those things that I really wonder about. And if any of you guys actually have, let's just say a link to a product that actually does let you listen to a recording of yourself the way you hear yourself, then make sure to let me know about it. I would love to get a pair of those. And this is also, something that is something definitely consider on very many things. If you want to make music for yourself, it's good to get other people's opinion, even if you don't want to release it, or, if you're afraid you'll get completely demolished. It's really great to get other people's opinions, especially on something like this. Now, sorry everyone if it seems like I was really rambling on, but there were so many things that it really got me wondering and thinking about, and there were so many questions, and it was one of those situations where by having one factual answer, it would have made a very big difference. And I really feel like this topic was definitely something that was worth talking about, and it might be an eye-opener for some people, or make them look at things differently and help things make more sense, or possibly more understanding. And also help prove when it comes to those jobs or positions within record-dealing businesses that they actually really do help a lot. And when it comes to audio recordings or other things like that, that it doesn't hurt getting other people's perspective or opinions on it, because once again, we hear you differently than the way you hear yourself. But anyways, that's it for today, guys. And if you guys would love to see me do more videos like this, then make sure to let me know in the comment section below. And I'm not gonna lie, I have no hesitation in that, because I have a big long list of things that I could talk about. So make sure to let me know in the comment section below. But anyways, that's it for today, guys. Thanks again, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.